MashaAllah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، ونشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم والقرآن الحميد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنما المؤمنون إخوة فأصلحوا بين أخويكم واتقوا الله لعلكم ترحمون. وقال تعالى في المقام الآخر: لا تمدن عينيك إلى ما متعنا به أزواجا منهم لا تحزن عليهم واخفض جناحك للمؤمنين. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام: المؤمن للمؤمن كالبنيان يشد بعضه بعضا وشبك بين أصابعه. متفق عليه. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. All praise is due towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send his choicest blessings and salutation upon the beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, upon his companions, upon his beloved family, his wives, his children, and his descendants. We ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent his salutations and blessings well upon our pious predecessors and those people who struggled and strive to really bring us this faith to this day. Because we inherit our faith, just like you have lineages of blood and of tribes and of people. There is lineages of faith. There is lineages of learning. I can also, subhanAllah, because of my learning of Quran and Hadith, I can trace my learning of Quran and Hadith right up until the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who my teacher studied with, and who they studied with, and who they studied with, and who they studied with over 1,400 years. This is an ancient and brilliant and amazing tradition that we have that is almost 1,500 years old now. It is, subhanAllah, a great tradition and a great, mashallah, faith that we have. So, mashallah, today's topic is a very interesting and beautiful topic. And, subhanAllah, we're going to divide today's talk into two parts. We love to be interactive. So what we want is, number one, we want to talk first. Inshallah, we will discuss the topic. The next part, inshallah, we discuss. Yeah, we talk. Everyone brings their opinions, their understandings, questions, answers. And inshallah ta'ala, we stay together like that. Because we all look at things differently, right? Everyone looks at things differently. And subhanAllah, it's not just one person that can give benefit. In fact, it's everyone. And subhanAllah, a lot of the great pious predecessors of before, they used to have this thing that they can sit with anyone and they can take benefit from any person. Doesn't matter who they are. And subhanAllah, so this beautiful topic about how to spend your holidays, about the new year, about Christmas, about the festive season which we are about to enter now. It's a time of festivities, of parties, of people meeting, fireworks, a lot of fireworks. Yeah, there's a lot of different, mashallah, a lot of parties, a lot of people meeting. And it's a time of the year, I was even reading, because it's now COVID, with COVID, everyone is worried about these parties, right? So people are asking, there's a lot of people writing articles. I was just talking to one doctor this morning about that. And subhanAllah, like there's a lot of different articles about this, about people, talking about, maybe we should do a rapid antigen test before the party. Maybe we should, how can we save the party? How can we make sure the party is nice and safe? So mashallah, everyone is thinking about coming together, about celebrating. But now from the Islamic perspective, us here in a society that is not necessarily entirely Islamic in its approach to certain celebrations, in its approach to certain things, how do we, you and me, how do we understand it and appreciate it. So number one, whenever we see other people of faith, we should be very happy. Why? Because in today's age, the technocratic age, it's called the technocratic age. Actually, we are entering the world of the technocrats. Really, from the advent of the internet and Silicon Valley, it's the world of the technocrats, right? It's a world where how much technology an economy has determines how prosperous that economy is. Yes? So that is the world that we're living in. It's a world that is, you know, in a large way or form, it is shaped by technology, by internet, by knowledge. It's a knowledge-based economy. And so this technocratic age that we're living in, what can happen is, what's the reverse of it? That there's a lot of positives to it, mashallah, increased connection. You can have a video chat with someone sitting in your original ancestral home and wherever country you came from. It's an amazing, you can have a video, literally look at them by video. You can send money to them in minutes, right? Right? So there is this, you know, before you had to send, I don't know if you remember that when I was at school, we had something called money order. So you used to have to send things, you know, you buy a certain type of receipt or check from the post office, and you go and you mail that. That was the safest way of sending money. Now, you got PayPal, you got credit card purchases on the internet. You can buy something today from Amazon, the same day it can come to your house. So the time and the age that we're living in, the reverse of it, the negativity of it is, number one, a lack of spirituality. A lack of spirituality. Number two, a lack of awareness of God. A lack of awareness of Allah. Right? The society gets to such a level that it feels it doesn't need a divine entity. Right? So that's the reverse of it. So for us, whenever we see other people of faith celebrating their faith traditions, it should make us feel happy. For example, Christmas, for example, Hanukkah. You know, when people have, these traditions and they have these celebrations, it should make us as Muslims feel happy, right? Because mashallah, other people, we can still say there are people of faith around the world. And we share a tradition with the Abrahamic faith, right? We share a common root, a common branch or stem that we come from. So mashallah, there is that muhabba. But of course, when it comes to New Year's, that's a different thing. When it comes to the New Year celebration, okay, that's a completely different thing. When it comes to New Year celebration, now it's good from one side, right? There is a new year that is coming. But what's the reverse of it? The reverse is sometimes we forget that we have our own calendar. And subhanAllah, I actually adapted my iPhone to now show me the Islamic date as well as the normal date. So my iPhone screen can now shows me, it is the 14th of Jumad Ukhra and 1443. Right? Or Jumad al-Ula and 1443. So that's an amazing thing that it gives me the year 1443. Isn't that amazing? So why do we want to do that? Is because we also know that it's December, right? It's December, and traditionally this calendar comes from the Greco-Roman calendar, and the Greco-Roman calendar has actually 10 months. So, but it was added, an extra 2 months were added. So actually, it really started in March. So sometimes you find universities start in March. You remember, some universities start in March, the Ides of March. So they have that concept as well. So, mashallah, when we look at it, it's the year 1443, not just 2021, right? It's the year 1443. And mashallah, yes, there is a new year that is there. But at the same time, what is the first thing we should do in the new year? For this new year, okay, let's say we're doing the normal 2021 to 2022, yes? It usually takes you 3-4 days to get used to saying 2022, yes? Even so much here. Especially because of COVID, yeah? There's a COVID, like, subhanAllah, like, when you have COVID, like, it feels like we didn't have a year. We lost it, yeah. Yeah, just like that. You know, it's just gone, subhanAllah, yeah? So, subhanAllah, one thing I used to do, and this was a great amal that I found was very beneficial for me, and it really started me off in my spirituality when I was in year 11 and year 12, is that when the new year was there, the very first thing I would make sure I would do is pray. So start the year with prayer. So you do two, you're gonna be up anyway, you're not gonna sleep. We know the it's summer, Isha is late, Fajr is early. We know we're gonna be awake, and there's noise around us. I don't know if where I live, people come out with their pots and pans, and they start hitting their pots and pans, you know. And it's very exciting. The whole street is very happy, you know. Everyone is together. You hear the fireworks, and mashallah, it's a good environment. But at the same time, we also want to do the very first thing that we do for the new year is that we want to make 2 rak'ats of salah. We make some tahajjud. We make some Quran. We read some Quran. We read some dhikr, some awrad, right? We do something. We make dua. Imagine the very first thing you do is dua. That's why when we get in the car, right? I know it's very hard here in Australia because the car, our driving seat is on the right-hand side. So it's very hard to get into the car with your right. Yeah? But we want to get everything with the more sunnah and the more khayr. Because why? It's actually ghafla. When we forget and we enter into a state of, you know, like zombie mode, you know, your mind is like in a zombie mode, like you're just following routine. You say Allahu Akbar. After you finish the 2 rakats, you don't know what you read. Sometimes that happens. Like you forget which surahs you read. Did I do 2 rakats? Did I do 3? So this is about bringing calmness into it. So we sit in the car. The very first thing we do is we read the dua. Subhanalladhi sakhara lana hada wa ma kunna lahu muqrinin. Inshallah, let's read it all together. Ma kunna lahu muqrinin wa inna ila rabbina lamunqalibun. Right? Wa ma qadarullaha haqqa qadrihi wal ardu jami'an qabdatuhu yawm al-qiyamati was samawati matwiyatun bi yamini subhanahu wa ta'ala amma yushrikun. If you read this wa ma qadarullaha haqqa qadrihi, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that you will not, that nothing will happen, and if it does happen to you, then you will be recompensed on the day. So if you read that Wama Qadr, you had an accident, someone bumped your car, it happens. And you say, subhanAllah, and it's painful. Accidents are painful. They hurt you financially, even if you have insurance. Even if you have insurance, the insurance company still gives you a little bit of a headache to get your money back, to get your rental, to get you this. Are you sure it wasn't your fault? What's your proof? You know? So they give you all of these things. So even in any accident, it's a little bit difficult. So coming back to this point about the New Year's celebrations and the Christmas celebrations and whatever else celebrations are happening, it's a festive season, it's a holiday. So let's fill our time. When we have time off, another side of this is we're going to get some time off, yeah? Boxing, unless you're really an essential worker where you're required to be at that job no matter what. You know, imams are essential workers. We don't get public holidays. But so unless you're very essential, maybe you're a heart surgeon, you're truck driver, or you work in logistics where the society needs you, usually those 2 or 3 days you're off, and maybe even they might even give you the week off. Right? Sometimes you have the week off. So you have time off, holidays. So what do we want to do, number one? Number one, we want to actually spend as much time as possible with our families, right? We want to spend as much time as possible with our families. We want to read as much Quran as possible, learn as much good things as possible, teach as much good as possible, rather than doing what? You know what the rule is, the general rule? If you don't do the right thing, normally you will do the wrong thing. So program your day. That way you actually don't waste any time. And actually, you don't have any time available for the shaitan. Because you know what? An idle mind is the devil's workshop. An idle mind is the devil's workshop. So inshallah, I'm going to stop it there. That's the first 15 minutes of the program. Inshallah, to discuss these important concepts. But inshallah, now I just want to get some questions, some discussion, some thoughts from inshallah ta'ala, from the audience, inshallah, from our brothers and sisters, inshallah. The sisters could hear the program, yeah? All good? You hear it? By the way, this tea is amazing.
It is an important topic for us to discuss. It's something that's coming. It is something that's here. Every single year. It seems that for us as Muslims, sometimes we get stuck in the routine. Without saying, we can just say, I guess, Happy New Year. What I wanted to, I guess, ask, what is, I guess, our perspective on saying New Year's, Happy New Year's, or saying Merry Christmas to others? And what are the pointers that you can give us to, I guess, sway away from saying this? What can we do next?
Yeah, what we can do is, it's very, very important to also be, because what happens is when it's Eid time, everyone gives us, congratulations on the Eid. They say Happy Eid, they say this. So what we can do, inshallah ta'ala, is we can show that we care and we are happy about their celebrations. Happy New Year is fine. We can say the Happy New Year. Where the difference of opinion really comes is in the Merry Christmas. That's where the difference of opinion comes. But I would just say that, inshallah ta'ala, just to be on the safe side with everyone, inshallah, all their opinions, what we can do, inshallah ta'ala, is at least what we can do is we can just show that we are happy for their celebrations, Because, it really is, there's not really much problem with being happy with someone else being happy. So what we want to do is, mashallah, this is your Eid al-Milad. In Arabic, it's called Eid al-Milad. Eid Milad, yeah, Milad meaning birth, and and Eid meaning, of course, celebration or holy day in terms of holy celebration. So we be very, in the Arabic sense, it's just you just say Kul aam wa antum bi khair, right? So the same thing that Arabs say in the Eid time, they will also say at that time, yeah, in that period of time. So say Kul aam wa antum bi khair, inshallah, every year you will be well. So we can give congratulations in that sense. That's probably a good thing. And to be respectful of the time of God, because this is their time, and of course, a lot of the churches will be holding masses in times of like, and very similarly, when the time of the Hanukkah comes, it's a very similar time for the Jewish faith as well.
Anyone else? Maybe from the ladies?
Boys.
You get to ask anything.
Yeah, I want to say something. So you were saying about the idle mind is the intro.
Yes.
And of course, holidays equal to sleep. Or holiday is equal, I don't know. Even as adults, people holiday or day off, they just sleep. Yeah. Once your voice. So I was worried about that comment. And secondly was about schedule your day, because if you don't schedule it, and that's it. That's the first comment. So maybe just simple question: what should as practical suggestion? Now we have from December, say this today, until the next school start is early Feb.
Yeah.
So we got practically almost 2 months. So what's the practical suggestion for us as adults, the parents at home, with all these gadgets, and with the kids from the teenagers to the like 8-10 years old ages? How we can schedule our time as a family.
MashaAllah. Yeah, very good. So number one, we want to get, of course, I'm the number one person who's guilty of this. We want to get time for exercise.
So it's good to work out some, smart exercises. For example, you don't actually have to work out gym time. Like you can just say, walk from here to there, So some walks, some nice walks, number one, schedule that in. You want to schedule so around your health, your mind, your body, your soul. You want to bring around these things. So in our soul, in Dini one, everything Dini, we want to work around that. So for example, mashallah, I think you guys have a brilliant tradition. Yeah, on Saturday morning, you read the Fajr. Yeah, like that. That's a beautiful thing. So you start off the week's plan with the Saturday morning Fajr meet up with, yeah? And then maybe you might have a Friday night gathering for the so you put those things. Then at the same time, for example, you want to put some personal goals. So in Islam, we are not all about the community and we're not all about ourselves. We're both community and ourselves, individual and also community. So on individual goals, we can put, for instance, okay, what's a surah that I haven't learned before? A surah that I need to learn today or for in my daily practice. For example, there are 4 surahs that I would really recommend most people to try and learn as regular as possible. On top of the Fatiha, Surah Yasin, Surah Waqi'ah, Surah Sajda, and Tabarak al-Ladhi, right? Surah Mulk. So these 4 surahs, why? Because these are 4 surahs that on a daily basis, we actually meant to recite. Surah Waqi'ah, we try and recite at night after Maghrib because it stops poverty. Surah Waqi'ah stops poverty. Surah Yasin in the morning because barakah for the day, right? And it makes all your things easy. And so that's Yasin, Waqi'ah, Tabarak and Mulk for the Akhirah. So 2 surahs will help you in the day, 2 surahs to save you for the Akhirah. Tabarak and Mulk is to save you from the punishment of the grave, right? So an easy reckoning in the Akhirah. So Tabarak and Mulk, you try and read them before sleep. And, and if you want to add Surah Dukhan as well, you can read Surah Dukhan as well. But in general, those things. And when you memorize these surahs, you can spend time during the week memorizing them, or you can just do something easy. If you listen to them on YouTube every day, I guarantee you within 2 months, you will almost memorize them. If you do it every day, and I think if you add them all together, it's like 20 minutes, right? Maybe 25 minutes, half an hour max. If you put these 4 surahs together, because they're two pages each. Two pages each means half a juz'u, maybe 20 minutes. So you listen to them, subhanallah, you will start memorizing. In 3 months, 4 months, definitely you will start memorizing. Because the Quran, you get Quran by osmosis. So you can put a Quran memorization, for instance. Another fantastic thing is to learn to read a book. To learn to read a book. It's a very nice thing, mashallah, to actually read a book. And when you read a book, a novel, you don't necessarily have to read something that is very Islamic. You can read something that's half-half. It gives you a bit of the personal development, and it gives you a little bit of Islam as well. For instance, and they're not necessarily Islamic books. For instance, there is a good book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's by Robert Kiyosaki. Especially for the young dudes here, really good for you. You want to learn how to get rich. It's a very good book, huh? I know everyone wants to become the Instagram millionaire, right? TikTok millionaire. So it's a good book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. It gives you very good life lessons, And it's a nice book, so you can read it. And for example, another way of spending your time is by doing mental exercises that are good for you. Now, I know a lot of us use our phones, okay? A lot of us use our phones. Now, because a lot of us use our phones, we can use apps on our phones that are very beneficial. Now, there's this one app, and I'm not getting any money by telling you. I'm not dropping any names. This is not advertisement. But it's just that I found it very beneficial. And I found it's an app that kids can use and adults can use, and both will benefit. So this is an app, it's called Lumosity. It's called Lumosity. I don't know if anyone heard it before. Lumosity, it's for brain development. So it actually it's used a lot of research professors, Lumosity, like a lot of research professors, neurologists, neuroscientists, cognitive psychologists, and all of these guys, they put together this way of developing the mind. Because guess what? Alzheimer's and dementia is more of a pandemic than a corona. Everyone's focused on corona, but if you look at the amount of people getting Alzheimer's and dementia, it's actually higher. So it's really, really high. So what we want to do is, not that we don't be specific about corona, we also have to be very worried about that, but I'm just saying for the mind, the development of the mind, we also have to be very mindful about that as well. So lumosity is a great way of at least 10 minutes every day, 5-10 minutes, you can use it and it's really good for the brain. Another really great app that you can use on your phones or your iPads, it's called Blinkist. Blinkist. I think it's based in Germany, this company, and they summarize books. So instead of reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you can listen to this 10-minute audio summary of the whole book, and it gives you the fa'idah of the whole book. So in 10 to 15 minutes, you can get the most important points of the book. It's a shortcut, yeah? You know what I tell my students all the time? Work smarter, not harder. Don't work harder, work smarter. Because when you work smarter, mashallah, you get ahead faster. So, mashallah, so those two apps are really, really good. Another great endeavor that we do is, mashallah, we can also practice our ibadah. Yeah? Set aside time on a daily basis, to practice our ibadah. A great way, mashallah, is to practice our salah. So you can do 10 minutes on Quran, read the Quran first, 10 minutes, get into the mood. How come every other sport, every other thing in our lives, we have to warm up? When it comes to salah, in, out, and we're gone. So we want to read Quran for 10 minutes and then try and pray for 10 minutes. If you do this every single day, I guarantee you one day from beginning to end of that 10 minutes of salah, you will be concentrating. And that will hone your concentration skills, right? Your meditative skills in your salah, where you're able to disconnect. Remember, once upon a time, if they wanted to do a surgical procedure on a Sahaba, one of the Sahabis, if they wanted to do a surgical procedure, for example, amputate a leg, take out something that was stuck in their bodies, there was no anesthesia. Yeah? No anesthesia. So the Sahabi used to say, let me pray salah. And wait for me to get into the sujood. And when I'm in the sujood, then you can do it. And that's what they used to do, is to wait. Because his body was disconnected from his soul. His soul was in the higher realm. And we want to, it sounds really amazing, but it can be done slowly. So that's another great way of spending time. And of course, quality time with the family. That's my final point. Actual quality time with the family where we sit and we speak to them, we get to know them, we connect with them. It's weird. I know it's weird. It's hard. It's awkward, but we got to do it. Today, the young man, everyone is his friend, but not his father. He makes friends with everyone, but not his father. And the father sometimes wants to spend time with his friend, but not to make friends with his son. And the same for the daughters and children. We need to make friends with our children and with our siblings. And sometimes the siblings do. Siblings are amazing. Like, subhanAllah, recently I made a group, on one of the apps, because we had it on the other apps, because everyone is not using the app anymore, so we made it on a new app, family group. It's a really good thing to have a family group. Now, it's my house is different. All the siblings, I'm the youngest, so everyone else is older, right? Everyone else is growing up now. So it's good together to get these things inshallah. Anyone wants to give, anyone can, not only questions, inshallah, comment. Yeah, anything you on your mind, sisters as well? Any points?
You come on comments about the last one, about the family group, but then this time, just sharing that show of
Please.
We have a WhatsApp group as you may have with the brother and sister and parent level. So my father is 70 years old.
MashaAllah.
So every Thursday night, because Indonesian have called Wirid Yasin every Thursday night as the, but he's on that mindset, so we're not. So the thing is that before Maghrib their time, an hour and a half before that, so we just have like this gathering and we tadarus Quran or Yasin and the couple surah.
MashaAllah.
It's giving the, before that, me and my brother and sisters, like, just say hello if somebody birthday or something. But now we get mass, so we're waiting for the Thursday night to come in gathering. And I found more benefit is for the father. He has four, so I'm the oldest. The second is on the other side of Jakarta. The third guy is actually in Central Java. Only the fourth daughter is with him. So every Thursday night, actually like right in front of the laptop,
Oh, very
waiting for
good.
the children to come.
Everyone comes.
Everyone comes. So it's just like,
MashaAllah.
I was thinking like hopefully that becoming like records for us.
Yeah, it's important. Huh?
It's important.
You can never communicate too much. More communication is better. So good, mashallah. It's a beautiful thing.
It's just very
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. Allah yataqabbal. Yeah, it's a very interesting thing that we connect with each other in different ways. And why not take advantage of the technology we have? You've got so many video chats now, so much, video means of communication on Zoom and on WhatsApp, Facebook and on this. And I remember when WhatsApp took out its video. You remember when they had the videos call on WhatsApp?
Yeah.
It came on the Samsung before the iPhone. I'm an iPhone person. So yeah, mashallah. So alhamdulillah, mashallah, the more connection, the more we are together, and inshallah ta'ala.
Maybe from the ladies side, any comments or questions before? Yours? You? Nada más que me explique.
Misalnya Ibu jika ada pertanyaan, silakan buat adik-adik. Benar?
Okay, no problem. Yeah. You're saying at the work, yeah? Yeah, as long as, we have at the workplace, it's very interesting, subhanAllah, and it's very good question system, may Allah reward you. So we try our best, at least, we get that there's usually just one party for both, all right? It's usually just one for having for New Year's and Christmas together, yeah?
Christmas is one is parents and one is only with the spouse. Yeah, so with the parents, they require us to give them Christmas dancing. Because of our parents, I don't really want to do that.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult. I think at that time, and if you don't feel comfortable with it, sister, I think it's important to actually just be honest with them and tell them, look, we don't celebrate it, and just be as honest as possible. And if you tell them, inshallah, I think they will make an adjustment because it's freedom of, religion and freedom of opinion. Am I right?
Yes, but they told me, if you don't want to do that, I'm going to get it wrong. I was like, oh my God.
But if you don't do that, sorry,
They didn't put me at the front.
they had the front.
Oh my God, I don't want to do that. But I have to maybe, I have my for an excuse. I
Basically,
said I have to go home because I've got little kids. But the ones that don't have it, I mean, when they grow older, I don't have issues anymore.
Yeah, subhanAllah. Yeah, it's a very good point you're mentioning, sister. And I think, I think in general, we just have to be, we have to explain things, take it the slow way. Sometimes they might not understand the first time, but slowly, I think they will eventually get it slowly.
Yeah, my husband is not multicultural.
Oh,
So most of them are Aussies and some European people. So I'm the only Muslim in there, and they don't understand about the religion, and they don't really care about that. And it's so sensitive to talk about religion.
wow.
in the workplace.
Really? Yeah, man. Look, we can have an open, I think it's nice to have an open